Hi everyone, welcome back to Digitally Twisted Media. I'm Jenny, and today I'm going to give you a review on this neat little animated short film that I saw. Well, not really short film. It was about 90 minutes long, so not quite as long as like full feature-length movie, but you know, a little bit longer than like TV series episode. And the movie that I'm talking about is Constantine, City of Demons, the movie. Now, I am not familiar with any of the Constantine comic books, although from what I understand, this particular movie is based off of a particular arc within the Constantine comic book series. But I did watch the movie in the early 2000s with Keanu Reeves. That was about Constantine the character. So that was kind of my basis of knowing about the character going into this movie. Now, the Constantine that was in the movie in this movie, the animated movie, was a little bit different than Keanu Reeves' version of Constantine. I actually found Keanu Reeves' version of Constantine to be a little bit more likable, although I'm pretty sure that what we saw in this movie was much more similar to how Constantine is usually portrayed in the comic books. So now, with this particular movie, what it was about was Constantine. He is this very magically adept individual. He's always been interested in being a sorcerer, in magician, and kind of considers himself to be naturally gifted at it. And this has led him to start studying it from a young age. You see a lot of flashbacks at the beginning of this movie with Constantine and his best friend Chaz. And they kind of get into some stuff with summoning some demons that was a little bit out of their league. And that's referenced quite a lot at the beginning of this movie. And actually, as somebody who didn't really have any background with this particular story going into the movie, I found myself a little bit confused for about the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, feeling like I didn't really understand who the characters were, what they were talking about, and just felt a little bit lost on the story. Now, I'm sure that if you're more familiar with the character and his particular storylines, you would already know this, but just as somebody who doesn't know it, that was my initial reaction. It does get cleared up, though, as the movie continues, and we start getting more flashbacks and we're learning a little bit more of the history between these particular characters and just their interaction with some demonic forces. So, Constantine and Chaz seem like they've had kind of a split in their relationship because of some demon summoning stuff that happened in their 20s. But then out of the blue one day, Chaz shows up to Constantine asking for his help because his 8-year-old daughter is in a coma and the doctors can't figure out what's wrong with her, and he really thinks that it is something related to magic and that Constantine would be the best person to kind of take a look at her and see if he can figure it out. So very begrudgingly, Constantine agrees to go along with this. And I know you're probably thinking, begrudgingly, why would he be begrudging? This is his childhood best friend. He's very interested in magic. Why would he not want to, help him out? Well, Constantine is a drunk. He smokes cigarettes like a chimney. He seems like he's kind of just all around like scumbag. So yeah, it's not surprising that he doesn't really want anybody in his life and that he sees his magical abilities really as more of a curse than a blessing that he really wants to use to help people. But he agrees to go along, help Chaz out based off of their relationship when they were kids, and take a look at his daughter. So once he goes there and, examines the daughter, he determines, oh yeah, this is definitely caused by a demon. And Trish, the daughter, her soul was not even in her body at all and was being held captive somewhere else by a demon who, at the time, he wasn't sure who it was. So he agrees to, go investigate this, get her soul back, and in doing so, ends up going on this really wild ride. It really ends up going on this really wild ride to LA, which is a city he's not familiar with because he lives in London. And, so we have a large part of the story where Constantine is in LA and he's getting used to that particular atmosphere. He starts investigating what's going on with this demonic entity that is holding Trish's soul hostage. And this is when it starts getting really crazy. And I actually started thinking to myself, like, what's the rating on this movie? I hope that nobody unwittingly picks this up. Sorry, that's my dog. I hope that nobody unwittingly picks this up and puts it on for their kids to watch, because it starts to become very, very macabre. There's lots of dead bodies, there's people being tortured, people being mangled, put in all sorts of very unseemly situations. This demonic entity that is holding Trish's soul captive is basically, you know, you hear in LA and in Hollywood about people selling their soul for fame and fortune. And this particular entity is the one who is taking these souls in order to help people rise to fame and fortune. So Constantine shows up and he gets drawn into this dinner party, where, let's just say, the people that were there at the dinner party did not seem like they were very willing participants. And I'm sure that they really regretted ever embarking on any type of journey of fame and fortune in LA. So the art style of this particular movie, it's good. It's your typical Warner Brothers, DC Comics artwork. You know, if you've seen any of the Batman or the Superman movies, it's that exact same type of artwork. It's very clean, it's easy to follow. I quite enjoyed watching it. I felt like I was watching, you know, cartoons on TV on Warner Brothers. But like I said, very gory, very gruesome, bloody, dead bodies. Yeah, pretty crazy. Not what I would have expected at all. So the movie definitely starts to turn really dark, which, you know, if you had seen the Keanu Reeves movie, that movie did turn pretty dark as well, and Keanu Reeves gets himself mixed up with a lot of unseemly demons and situations. So same thing here, just in animated cartoon form. I did check on the box though, and it's rated R, so hopefully people that are looking for a movie for their kids will look on the back of the box, see that it's rated R, and not unwittingly put it in and then leave the room. I did really enjoy this story though. It had a lot of twists and turns to it, and it brought in a lot of different demonic entities, and John Constantine also had a battle with his own inner demons as well, literally and actually figuratively, because we do have some scenes where his demons actually come out from his body and are running around tormenting him, and he has to kind of bring them back inside. So one thing that I thought was kind of interesting while I was watching this movie, because I'm a big Doctor Strange fan, and I have a lot of Doctor Strange comics. I really like his character. He's probably #1 my favorite comic book superhero character of all of them. And while I was watching Constantine, I actually started getting some very serious Doctor Strange vibes in what the plot line was, in the type of little symbols that Constantine was throwing up with his hands, in the way that he interacted with people. And Dave and I were chit-chatting about it afterwards, and Dave was saying, you know, oh, I wonder if Constantine is DC's version of Doctor Strange. So I looked this up because I was curious who came first, and just for the record, Doctor Strange did come first. He first appeared in 1963, whereas Constantine first appeared in 1985. So I do kind of feel like Constantine is a little bit of DC Comics' answer to a Doctor Strange type of character, although their kind of morals and where they're coming from in utilizing their powers is much different. All in all though, I'd say that I really enjoyed this movie. I like these types of characters and I like these types of stories. I definitely recommend checking it out. Be prepared for, you know, having a lot of gore, a lot of, I mean, I'd say violence, but it's more of the torture, macabre type violence than like war type violence. You know, just as long as you kind of are prepared for that and in the mood for it, you don't have your young kids in the room, I think it would be really awesome to check out. And I do really enjoy this story, and it actually inspired me to check out some more of Constantine's comics and just kind of see a little bit more about his character in depth. Let me know if any of you, though, have either watched this or if you're familiar with Constantine's comics, and then maybe you can like direct me in a certain area to ones that I should check out. I would really love that because I am a big fan of reading comics. And until then, I will talk to you all later. Have a good night. Bye.